but we just got hit by a slap shot, and I'm not even in Canada. I'm talking about Canada Junior Leagues, Canada Junior Hockey. We're talking about where the best players in hockey come from. I'm just going to say Canada. Then I'm going to talk about young Canadian players, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds who are playing what you would think would be called junior leagues, and what I would tell you are pretty much semi-professional minor leagues, in that they've got 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds who are going from Canada Junior Leagues to the NHL. But the story came out yesterday about the greatest hockey prospect. Of course, we fall victim to this every time. This guy's the greatest. This guy's the next great one. But Gavin McKenna, you could have an argument today that he could be better than Connor McDavid. No one ever says better than Gretzky. People can talk about Sidney Crosby from time to time, but you don't say anything about Gretzky. But Gavin McKenna is a surefire #1 pick in next year's NHL draft. Already known. It's one of those LeBron things or Bryce Harper things where you're looking Steven Strasburg and you say, oh, this is a 1-1. Cooper Flagg, the most recent example in the NBA. Hey, before he even steps foot at Cameron Indoor Stadium, he's the #1 pick in the NBA draft. But the reason why this story merits your attention is that Gavin McKenna is taking advantage of a new rule that was implemented as of, that's a tense issue, 4869. Gavin McKenna is taking advantage of a new rule that will be implemented on August 1st, 2025, when he will have the right to leave junior hockey in Canada and go and switch and play U.S. college hockey. And you'd say, why is that even a new rule? What changed here? What did it used to be? Well, the NCAA, we're talking about college in the U.S., they had to vote to lift a previous restriction that barred these Canadian Hockey League players due to amateur rules and did not allow, if you played in these junior leagues in Canada, you couldn't play in college. But then 14 and 50-year-olds started looking down. And I don't mean looking down on anyone. I mean literally looking down from Canada and said, hold on. We barely get paid anything here in the Canada Junior Leagues. Yes, we get to go to Tim Horton. That's fun. But all these guys are going to college. They're playing hockey. They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. I want a piece of that. So they go to the Canada Junior Leagues and they say, I'm not sure I want to play in this league anymore. So then the NCAA says, here's an idea that we can get the best players to either not play junior leagues at all or to leave the junior leagues and not go straight to the NHL. We're going to say you can go from the junior leagues to NCAA on your way to the NHL. So Gavin McKenna is picking up his sticks, packing his bag, and going to Penn State University. The reason why he's going to Penn State University is that they are offering him in the neighborhood, it is reported, of $700,000. That's US dollars. Well, that doesn't seem like a lot if Cooper Flagg made $25 million, except I'll tell you, there's not been a college hockey NIL deal for $700,000. That's how good Gavin McKenna is, and that's how much money Penn State has, because guess what the name of their ice arena is? Just take a wild one. How about the Pegula Ice Arena? Yeah, that's the same Kim and Terry Pegula. You've heard of them. They donated $88 million to build that arena, which basically made them the GM of Penn State hockey, which enabled them to throw money around, give NIL money so that Penn State can have a great hockey program. And so they call up a good player in the junior leagues in Canada and say, do you like making $50 every 2 weeks? Do you like making $150? Or do you want to come make $700,000? So what does it mean? Why does this matter? Why am I passionate about this issue? When we told you that all college sports was post NIL was another professional league with full free agency. And you're going to hear more later in the show about free agency in the NBA and people complaining and what are the solutions. The MLB, Rob Manfred complaining about free agency. It's like a death march because no one signs. College, total free agency. 1 year NIL deals. Who's going to give me the most? But then you have to go down another level. We said in the US, and this is the only reference I made because I wasn't properly thinking it through. The unintended consequence of NIL, the ripple, when you put the pebble in the river, I said, we're going to make high schools like colleges. Right now, you don't get paid in high school. It's coming. And you will have high school transfers happening way more. The portal will be so full of people going from Power Memorial to Horace Mann because, oh, look, we can pay $200,000 to have someone who normally wouldn't be able to sit through AP history. So high school becomes what college used to be. College becomes what the pros used to be. But I didn't look north of the border to an entire infrastructure that had been producing hockey players and great hockey players since the beginning of time, practically. The best players are Canadian. Therefore, it makes perfect sense that the colleges wanted to get these best players for just a year because the NHL has a rule that, do you know, when you draft someone in the NHL, you've got that player for 2 years, not one. 2 years he can go unsigned and he's still your property. MLB doesn't have that. Do you know that if you draft a player from a college team, he's yours for 4 years? 4 years. It's supposed to be that when you draft a player, you've got a signing period, and if you don't sign the player before that period's done, you lose that player. You can sign that player to a minor league deal, which most MLB players are. You can sign that player to a G League deal, a split deal, a brawny deal. There are myriad ways, but you've got a deadline after which you lose the rights to the player. And colleges have never fed the NHL the way they feed basketball. Out of the 22 top picks in the 2025 NHL draft, you want to know how many U.S. college players there were? 1. Colleges look around and say, we can change this. We can raise money if we can bring in the best young players. Let's do it. Mr. Pagula, what do you think? So why do I tell you that here's what's coming? Complete change to a system that, in my opinion, had been working perfectly. You've got Canadian players doing what they do, getting good in the Canadian junior leagues, and then coming to the pros. With the money now in college, the Canadian leagues have to make a change that they do not want to make because they can't afford to make it, which is going to lead to contraction amongst all the Canadian junior leagues because they're going to have to start paying their players more than those tiny stipends they currently do.